Hey guys, it is the Incredible Scotch again, minus Zion, minus one. We are here tonight. We told you guys we were going to come to you guys on tonight to talk about some of the most important questions that you should ask someone before you get married, or some of the most important things that should be addressed before you get married. Just a little bit of background about us. I am Trina. I am 39 years old.
I'm Zalon, and I am 35 years old.
We have been married. It will be 13 years on November the 15th this year. We have one child, a 6-year-old, which you guys know, Ziyon. And throughout the course of our 13 years of marriage, we have been through a lot of situations.
Yes.
A lot of situations that would have normally broken a couple, but we have stuck it out. And so we just kind of want to share some of the tools with. Now, that does not mean that we have not come to points to where we have maybe felt like that we weren't going to stick it out. However, we just kind of want to share with you guys some of the things that we have used to overcome those hurdles and all of that good stuff. So I found this on the internet, and I'm not sure about how all the copyright stuff goes, so I don't even want to mention the author's name or anything. But it is the 10 most important questions to ask before getting married. So before I get into the questions, I want to kind of give you guys a synopsis of some of the things that we went through in marriage. And I'm only going to talk about the things that we went through in the beginning part of our marriage. That a normal couple would not have made it through. We went through family situations to where family, kind of tried to pull us apart. We went through situations to where we were homeless.
Yep.
We went through situations, a lot of things that and I don't want to really go so deep into the things that we went through. What I will say is that we have never encountered any type of infidelity. Neither one of us have ever cheated or anything like that. And not to say that situation has not arose in our marriage or the temptation hasn't been there, but God has always given us the ability to be able to overcome those temptations and to continue to love each other no matter what it is that we go through. So we have experienced not being able to have a child. We went through, as you know, like I said, we've been married for 13 years, and we only have a 6-year-old. So that means 7 years of our marriage, we were unable to have a child. That was a very, disheartening thing for me, especially for a woman. And so for me in that situation, the greatest thing that I was able to do was to be able to lean on my relationship with God, because that was the only thing that brought me through that situation. The only thing that brought me through that situation, because I was looking at other young women that were not married, that were not kids, and they were not married, they were not looking to be settled down, they weren't serving God, and I was looking like, well, hold up. Now here I am, a whole married woman, faithful to my husband. Here I am serving God, and I just felt like that it was unfair to me. However, the one thing that I do want to share with you guys, if any of you all are experiencing that type of thing, and of course, this is for married couples, but as well, we may have some couples out there that are not married that may need this wisdom as well. But if you are encountering that type of thing to where you're not able to have a child, I just want to tell you that that does not make you any less of a woman. There is always an appointed time for things to happen in your life. And so now looking back on those situations where I was crying and God, woe is me, and all of that good old stuff, I realized that at that point in time, I was not ready for what I wanted. And so God had to prepare me for what it was that I wanted, because the greatest thing that I have learned in life is that you can get something, but if you're not prepared for it, you won't know how to maintain it.
Maintain it. That's right.
Yeah, maintain
I mean,
it.
maintain.
But yeah. So we are going to get into these questions. Is there anything you want to say?
Well, yeah, I wanted to say a few things. I'm not too much. I'm kind of shy, but I'm just coming out the shell a little bit. I'm not kind of used to being on camera speaking, but yeah, and I think another thing too, you don't too much hear I don't know, I could be wrong, but you don't too much hear we need to hear more teachings on marriage, relationships. You don't hear that. No, it's kind of that message of marriage and how to keep a relationship, how to keep a happy home, and how to keep a family together. You really don't hear that often, especially in the church, because now it's like they say it's more divorce in the churches than it is in the world. And so it's like, man, something wrong with that picture, And one thing I had learned that, God honors, he's a family. He loves family. And so, I believe that, when a family, when there's a lack of teaching on marriage, and that's what we're seeing. We're not seeing teachings on marriage as much. It's like this generation now has forgotten, has forgot the foundation of family, and
you're right. And not even, like I said, this is not just specifically for married couples. This as well is because I came from a home where my parents were not married. However,
mine wasn't either.
Now, my biological father, he was not there. He wasn't present. However, God blessed me so to where I had a man that stepped in when I was at the age of 5, and he was my father. That was my father. And that's not to take anything away from my dad, because I love my dad. But, God blessed to where I had a man that stepped in and that he was a father. However, my whole point is my mom and my stepdad, they were never married. They were together from the time I was 5 years old up until my mom passed away when I was probably about 13 years old. But that's how long they were together. And you would not have been able to tell that they were not married, because the way that they functioned, it was just like you couldn't have thought anything else. They were a unit, and no matter what they went through, and no matter what situations they had, they always came together as a unit. And my stepdad, he only had 2 kids with my mom, but there were 6 kids in the home, and he took care of all 6 of us as if we were his biological children, which is why I will always honor him. But I said all of that to say that not only just do you not see those things or hear those things taught in the church, but it's like nowadays we're not really getting those teachings from the women that are supposed to be the elder women in our families. It's like you have these 45-year-old and 55-year-old woman that's trying to be Stella got her groove back when they got grandkids and great-grandkids and stuff like that. And it's like, the mama 25 and she partying with the grandma that's 45, and the grandma partying with the great-grandma that's 65, and stuff like that. And I'm not saying you can't enjoy the company of your parents, but what I am saying is, for me, when my daughter does get of age to where she's grown, I don't want the gist of our relationship to be hanging out in clubs. And so I want her to know how to be a wife. I want her to know how to be a mom. I want her to know how to not only be a wife and a mom, but to establish her identity in this society, and how to be a strong Black woman. And those are the type of women, not just a Black woman, but a strong woman, period. But those are the type of women that I was raised around. My aunts and my my aunts and my sister, though my aunt Michelle, who you guys hear me talk about a lot, she is one of the people that have really instilled a lot in me when it comes to me being a woman. And my sister, she's another person that really instilled a lot in me when it comes to being a woman. And so I take those things from them and I apply them to my life, and it helps me to learn how to love my daughter and how to love my husband the way that I'm supposed to. And so I just feel like that those are things that's lacking, not only just in the church, but those are things that are lacking in the family, period. And I feel like that's the reason why you have a lot of young women out here who don't have value in themselves.
Yeah, they're so misguided, you know.
I don't want to get deep off into, you know, what's really on my mind, but it reminds me of a young lady that I was extremely close with, and I'm not going to get real deep, but it reminds me of that, and how you see so much in a person, but they don't see that worth in themselves because they were not raised around women that would teach them that worth. And so they devalue themselves because they were not taught value. So anyways, I just thought that was amazing. That was a good point. Okay, so without further delay, we are going to get into some of these questions. So the first question is, does your partner display empathy for others and for you? So basically what that, for me, what that's saying is if we are boyfriend and girlfriend and you see me maybe, okay, for instance, we're going to use this for an example. Before we got married, I was living in my own place. He was living in his own place and everything. And I was working, but I was working at Old Country Buffet. I think I probably was making like, child, that's back when minimum wage was probably like, what, $6, $7?
$6-7 an hour.
So I'm not really making much or whatever. And my rent was due and I didn't have enough. So he was working for the housing authority or whatever.
Springfield housing.
And so he had got paid and he was like, I'm finna come pick you up. And so he came to pick me up. And we was just hanging out all day and just chilling and everything. And so he was like, he was finna go buy him some clothes and stuff. So he went to the store and he just bought up, I'm talking about he bought up the store. All kind of shoes and clothes and everything. And not once did he turn around and say, hey, you need anything or you want something or anything like that. And so I just felt like, dang, well, what is it that we're here doing? And so I'm saying all of that not to put him on blast, but just to say that if in the beginning of your relationship, the person that you are with cannot look at you and say, hey, let me consider them in this situation, or let me consider how they feel or what it is that they may need, then that's kind of like a red flag that either y'all need to work on that situation or that's not the person.
That's not the person
for you.
Exactly.
So what do you think?
I think the same thing. You know, you gotta be, let's see, how can I put this? Because I want to make sense. Like you said, when that person is not considerate of you, you know, are you seeing signs of they not too much being, you know, caring or being there, or, you know, basically like what you just said. So yeah.
So one of the little things that I just read off here that was kind of amazing to me, it says, how your partner interacts and communicates with others around them will eventually be the same way they will interact with you. And so a lot of times, and I know y'all have, even for myself, even in past relationships or what have you, and I'm not going to even lie, I'm going to be completely transparent, even in my marriage, I have seen that this is completely the truth. If, you know, my mom always said, you can look at the way that a person or a man treats his mom or his sisters, and you can tell how he will treat you. And so if you got a man or a woman that's completely disrespectful to the people around them, then how do you mean, like, you can't tell me that they are going to be respectful to you. Exactly. At some point in time, when you rub them the wrong way, they're going to flip out on you just like they flip out on everybody else.
That's right.
And so for me, I've always been the type of person that I'm a very opinionated person, But I'm the type of person that I don't like to just keep on constantly going back and forth and back and forth.
Too much energy.
Like that's too much wasted energy for me. So I would rather cut off the relationship than to keep on going through the same old stuff over and over.
Over and over.
But that's just me. Okay, so next question is, how do you handle stress or something that really frustrates you?
What?
Go ahead.
Oh, that's a good question. Well, to give y'all, my best option is how you deal with it is now from a, I'm coming more from a spiritual perspective. I'm gonna start with the spiritual first. How to deal with stress, and what was the other?
How do you handle stress or something that really frustrates you?
That's a good question. Well, from a spiritual perspective, me personally, how I will deal with it is, number one key thing as a believer. I am a Christian, a believer of Jesus Christ. Pray. Really pray. And, as the scripture tells us as believers that, men are to always pray, Luke 18:1, and not faint. So that's number one. Pray, seek the face of God. Read the word of God. Study, renew your mind.
And that right there is a powerful thing.
Yeah.
And you ain't even, it ain't like you said a whole bunch of, eloquent words, but that was a very powerful thing. And the thing that I'm talking about is how he said about pray and to read your Bible. This is my belief. Whatever it is that you put in you is what's going to come out of you. And so in frustrating times, if you feel yourself with positive things, and of course, I'm not saying now this is our belief. We're believers of Christ. Right. I can't say, what your belief is, what your religion is, what your stance is, what your foundation is. So whatever it is that fuels you in a positive way, those are the things that you need to fuel yourself with. That's the things that you need to pour into yourself so that when you do get in frustrating situations with your mate, with co-workers, with people around you, with your kids, any of that stuff, whenever you get frustrated, then you're able not to speak out of a place of anger or out of a place of hurt, but you're able to speak out of those places that you filled yourself with positive things. So I think that is extremely 100% on point, and I think that's an extremely powerful thing. I feel like I watch a lot of, I like reality TV and stuff like that, and I think that nowadays the end thing for relationships is to see, I always give reference to this, the end thing for people to see nowadays is that whole Jody and Yvette relationship, baby boy, that whole oh I love you, let's have sex, and then let's be mad at each other, all of that stuff. And that's what I feel like is the foundation of so many relationships these days. Yes. And because of the fact that
and Jody,
because of the fact that people that's what's on television. It's so much negativity on television. Media, that's what's fed to us. Yes. And because negativity nowadays, social media, YouTube, relationships, and Instagram stories, and love and hip hop, and Real Housewives of Atlanta, because those are the things that we're filling ourselves with. The moment we get into a disagreement with our spouse, then or our boyfriends or girlfriends, whatever you want to call it, the moment we get into a disagreement, then the first thing that comes out of us is that thing that we've been pouring into ourselves all week long, that negativity. So the whole thing is that you just have to begin to fill yourself up with positive things, put yourself around positive people. I'm just the type of person that I've always been the type of person that it's hard for me to let go of relationships, friendships, all of that type of stuff. It's hard for me to let go of those type of things, but just here recently, it's been so easy because that's what I prayed for, was for God to allow me to let go of those things that were not causing positive vibes in my life, and to give me the peace to walk away from them, because it was times that I did walk away from them, but I returned to those friendships because of ties and relationships and love that I had for those people. But the thing about it is if, first of all, one thing, I have friends that talk to me about, situations that they may be going through in their marriage and stuff like that. And the first thing that I do, this is why I don't ever disclose my business of what I'm going through in my marriage to anybody. Because the first thing that people offer you when you offer your information is their opinion. And so when you go and you fill people up with, the negative things about your significant other, the first thing that they do is they respond with negativity, like, that nigga know he ain't right. That type of stuff. Yeah. And so then now they're feeling some type of way. But the thing about it is, you have to put yourself around people that have wisdom. You have to put yourself around people that have understanding for relationships and stuff. Because if you don't, you're going to end up in a situation to where people are talking you out of your relationship. Yeah. And it could be something that God really has for you. It could be something it can be a relationship that has purpose on it.
And another thing, you always want to be around people that have experience. That's the key. To me, that's the most, because how can, if a person going through this in their marriage or relationship, or maybe, anything dealing with relationship, if I never, especially never try to get advice from people that's unmarried.
Ain't never been through nothing.
Because they don't really know. Because they don't have the same agenda or the same experience. Especially people that's unmarried, that's not married, that don't have a companion. A husband or a wife, You always want to get advice for somebody that's married, that can really relate. To me, that's the biggest thing. That's the key right there. Is to go, to somebody that you can trust and that has the experience, that have been through what you're going through now. They done already been there, because them type of people can really help you. Because, wisdom, I found out wisdom come through experience, So, yeah. Okay,
so the next question is question number 3, and we only have 10 questions, so we ain't gonna hold y'all all night. Okay, so the next question is, what is your relationship with your family? Which that is a very, very important thing.
Yeah, that's
extremely important. You want to elaborate first? Or you want me to?
You go ahead first.
Okay, I say that is an important thing because I want to be very, very mindful of the things that I say. Yeah. But I just feel like that if you are in a relationship with somebody, first and foremost, with somebody that is extremely attached to sisters, mothers, brothers, cousins, friends, all of that good stuff. If you are in a relationship with somebody that's really attached to them, then that means that those people hold very strong influence over that person that you're in a relationship with. And so it's gonna be, if that person does not break away from, and that's not meaning to not still have relationships with those people, but if that person does not know how to create a line between their relationship with a spouse or significant other and their relationship with their family, then you're going to find yourself always in a never-ending fight with their family.
Yep.
And so for
never-ending fight. Yep.
That's a very uncomfortable place. Now, it's a difference when it's just your boyfriend or your girlfriend, because I ain't got to deal with your family. But when you come into covenant and
marriage,
you are married to that person, if you looking to be in a lasting long-term relationship, you gonna have to get along with your in-laws.
Yeah,
because it's gonna be birthday parties, it's gonna be funerals, and nobody wants to be going to no birthday parties and funerals and somebody looking you all upside your head and stuff like that because they feeling some type of way towards you or something like that. So you always, that's why I feel like you want to know the relationship that your potential spouse or your mate has with their family, because in some instances that can really be not even just, you know, you got some men that's like mama's boys, and the mama just wants to dictate the house and
rearrange
you know
the house,
all of that type of stuff. Like, no,
that stuff crazy.
I'm no, ma'am. And you know, my mother-in-law, she's deceased. I never had the chance to meet her. The same with my husband. He never had a chance to meet my mom or anything like that. And as much as I love my mother, and I would give my right leg for her to be here now, I would not allow her to dictate anything in my home.
That's right.
My home is my home.
That's right.
And these two people are the people that, you know, govern this home. So I just feel like that if you have a close relationship with your family, you have to know how to create that line and give boundaries, because you can't be letting your family disrespect your spouse or your potential girlfriend or boyfriend or whatever it is. You cannot do that. You have to learn how to put your foot down no matter how bad the situation gets with your family. Sometimes you're going to have to cut some family off until they learn to respect who you're with.
That's right.
And because honestly,
that's important.
Honestly, them not respecting your significant other is a sign that they don't respect you.
Exactly.
So, anything you want to add?
Yep. And I done seen a married couple like that, like to where they was together, but their spouse wasn't interactive with her family at all. Never went to the family events. Never, like, he really didn't have no dealings with her family whatsoever, and they didn't have no dealings with him. And you know, that's
it's sad, because as a person, you want to be able to share all parts of your life with everybody you love. And so I want to be able to, which I'm blessed to have. I'm blessed that my family my family like my husband more than they like me sometimes. But you know, I'm blessed to have a family that embraces him the way that they do. Like, they love him and they love him. This is the key. Sometimes your family, now here's the kicker right here. Sometimes your family don't like that person because they see how that person treats you. And so you know how family is. Family is extremely protective over family.
Especially mamas,
and so
they know.
The reason that my family loves my husband the way that they do is because they see how my husband loves me. Because I'm going to be honest with y'all, this year is the first year that I have really, really worked like that. My husband has always provided for me, always. And I ain't the type of person, I'm the type of person, I like shoes, I like my hair done, I like clothes. And my husband, and not just to say that material things are the things that matter, because when I met my husband, I've always been a believer in God, but this is the person that taught me how to pray, taught me how to read and study my word and stuff like that. So of course, my family could see the change in me, like the change. Like, if y'all knew me before I got married, I was a completely different person. So, yeah, anything else you want to say?
That's it.
Okay. Question number 4 is, okay, this is a threefold question. The first part of the question is, what is your partner's passion about? So I feel like that's a very, very, very important thing. And I say that because of this. You can get with somebody and you can never learn what they are passionate about. And then y'all get married. And then you sitting up in the house like, dang, you ain't gonna go to work. You been sitting up here on this game all day long. Like, we got bills to pay.
Exactly.
And that's because their passion is the video game.
Passion is the video game. Or, you know, it could be, I mean, you know, you could be sitting at home, or they can be at the club kicking it with their boys.
That's their passion.
Or they homegirls. That club is their passion.
Some of their passion could be infidelity. So that's why you have to learn.
Exactly.
You have to learn what is important in a person's life, because the reason you want to learn what's important or what are they passionate about is because you want to make sure that you all's purposes and you all's destinies and your wants and desires and likes, that they match. Because when God created him and God created me, we don't look alike. But what does the law of attraction say? opposites attract. And so God created us fitly to join together just like that. And so what he loves, I love. And I might not love it the way he love it, but I love it because I love him. That's and right. So every part of him I love. So all right. So you crazy. So so the next part of question 4 is, how do they pursue their passion? So you want to?
Oh, go ahead.
Okay. So that's an important thing, because let's say that my husband's passion is to be a songwriter, and he's really good at being a songwriter. Like, he write the most bomb songs, but he write all his songs and then he stuff them in a notebook and then chill out and go do something else with his time. It is basically, for me, this is just how I feel. I feel like that when a couple gets together, they have one destiny together. However, they have a bunch of things within them that they have to complete in order that they can both get to that destination. And so I feel like that if he's not pursuing what it is that he's supposed to pursue to get to where he needs to be, then that's holding me up, and vice versa. And then we don't make it to our destiny. Or our purpose of where we're supposed to be as a couple. So exactly. I feel like that the way that a person pursues what it is that they want in life is a very important thing when you're going into a marriage. Because what about the things that you want to accomplish together, as far as like buying a house and having children and creating a legacy and things like that? And if a person is lazy about their passion and ambition, then that means that as a whole, as a couple, you won't get to where you're supposed to be.
Indeed. Exactly.
All right. So the third part of question 4 is it something that you can support for the long term? That's just like I was just saying about the whole video game thing. Now, you done got married and you all intertwined. You done had 4, 5, 6 kids with him, and his passion is to sit on the couch and play video games, but you want to be a restaurant owner and he ain't helping you, and you mad at him because he's sitting on the couch because you cannot agree with what it is that his passion is.
His passion is, yeah.
It's not something you can support. And even not even just for video games. Let's say what's crazy is, this is amazing. My husband wants to own a studio and he wants to produce music. What's amazing is I sing. I'm a singer. So that's our passion.
Passion, yep.
Like accompanying each other. Like his passion gives foundation and wholeness to my passion, and vice versa. So you just want to make sure that the things that you desire in life, that they fit together with that person that you want to be with. Because I have seen it to where you have one person that just really want to go hard and accomplish things in life and really lay a foundation for their children, and the other person that they with is just like, I don't want that.
Don't want
like
it.
That ain't what I want to do. I want to be this,
opposite,
and that's all I want to be. That's what I want to do. And so, you just have to make sure. And honestly, it don't matter how long you entertain their relationship. I don't care. Exactly. If that person don't want what you want, it ain't gonna work.
It ain't gonna work. Period.
Period, Pooh. Alrighty. Okay. So, let's see. The next question is, how often do you think... Oh, Lord, this is a deep one. How often do you... I don't even want to ask this question.
No, go read the
How
question.
often do you think we need to be intimate?
Ooh, that's a good one.
I hope y'all put y'all kids to bed.
Right, put your kids to bed. I say at least maybe 3 times a week.
I can agree.
Maybe about 3 times a week.
I can agree. Now, if you are a couple that newly married and you don't have any children and all that stuff, then you got plenty of time to get it in.
Yeah, plenty of time.
If you vesting these things like us, and you only got one child, this kid is with us 24/7.
24/7.
So all of that have to be a planned event. Like,
it gotta be planned.
It just don't happen. Now there are some times that she'll be like, "Oh, I'm sleepy," and then it's like, "Oh my God, she's asleep."
She's asleep, exactly.
But most of the time, she is all up in our grill, 24/7. So you just have to make sure. That's another thing. You have to make sure that you make time for your spouse, because it can, being a mom or a dad and a person that works 5 days, 6 days a week, and stuff like that, it's hard to graft it. You can easily get caught up in, let me get up for work, make breakfast, get dressed, get together, go to work, come home, cook dinner, study with the kids, get the kids in the bed, go to sleep. And that become your routine and stuff, but then you forget about the fact that you need to love on your significant other.
That's right.
And then that's how I feel like that a lot of times it's really easy for other people and things to creep in to relationships, because you get so used to your everyday routine that you forget about the fact that, hey, once upon a time we used to sit up in the car all cuddled up and stuff, and now we all like, because and all scooted far away from each other. And it's not that you don't want to be around your spouse, it's just you just get so used to just that person being there. And so you just never want to get to the point to where you go from being husband and wife or boyfriend and girlfriend or fiancés to just existing in a relationship just to be in a relationship.
Yeah.
Okay, and so there was a second part of that question. It was, how do you communicate to your significant other that you ready to be intimate?
You can elaborate on that. You can go ahead on that one.
Me personally, I'm not, I'm a very outspoken person, and plus I'm a very goofy person. I'm always making jokes and stuff like that. So I'll say something like, we may be laying in the bed and I'll be like, it's Mr. Nasty time, or something like that. Something like that. So, I mean, that's just me. That's just how I do. But I can't, whatever your love language is with your significant other or your spouse, whatever your love language is, then that's what, you do.
Right. Whatever it is,
You know what your significant other likes, so you do what they say or you do what they want.
Right.
So how do you communicate? He's shy.
I'm very shy. Period. I'm still.
Period.
I'm trying to come out of that, but
I'll be like, shy. Boy, you acting like we just met yesterday.
Yesterday, newlywed.
We've been married 13 years.
13 years. Shoot.
Yeah, but anyways, okay. I can see he's uncomfortable with that question.
Yeah.
So
I'm working on it though.
Let's go on to question number 7. Question number 7 is, what are your partner's spiritual beliefs and how would they want the family to be a part of this spirituality? And
that's a good question.
That's a big
Very
one.
good. Yeah, that's a big one.
Because there is absolutely no way on God's green earth that I can be a
Christian,
and my husband be a Muslim, because we got two different foundations.
Or Israelite.
And of course, there is. Of course, that there are scriptures that will say that a wife that is rooted and grounded in, I'm just paraphrasing, a wife that's rooted and grounded in God can draw a husband or what have you. But for me, I would just say that that's not something that I would do. And I wouldn't, because I don't want to tell, which, hey, I know who I'm a believer in, but I can't tell you who to believe in. That has to be a decision that you make.
Yep.
Because God is not the kind of God that makes you serve him. And
He
so
gives us choice.
exactly. So
Yep.
I feel like that we would never be able to grow in our spiritual walk, and then once we start having children, it would be hard to instill into them the things that we want to instill into them, because you got a whole nother set of values that you living by, and how can two walk together
Unless they agree.
Okay.
Because then it'd be confusion. Confusion because y'all got two different belief systems and y'all not getting the same thing.
And FYI, this is not just plain water, it's flavored water.
Flavored water.
We tried to act like we was having some wine. Yeah, so I mean that's just what we believe. Anything else you want to say?
That's a good question.
That was a good one. That was a real good one. Okay, question number 8. We moving on down the list, y'all.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, question number 8. When you and I disagree, how would you handle it, especially if things become heated?
Ooh,
now that's a big one for me
that's
because
a big one.
y'all. Well,
That
you
happens.
know what I can say. Now he can agree or disagree, but what I can say when it comes to me is the way that I used to handle my anger when we first got married is completely different from
yes.
how I handle my anger now.
Now
We can have disagreements, and of course I'll get upset. I may even say some things that I may, but I'm quicker to come back and say, you know what, I shouldn't have did, or I'm quicker to kind of just be like, let me just be quiet for a while until I'm able to control my tongue, and then we can talk about it. But it used to be a time that, child, look, I was not.
We came a long way, y'all.
Even
though we still look young,
long way.
But we came a long way.
A very long way.
People don't understand. We have really came a long way.
And I'm extremely, of course, the 13 years has not been the most easy years of my life.
Not.
However, I don't think, matter of fact, I ain't gonna say I don't think, I know I would not want to travel those 13 years with anybody else. Anybody. Like, we have as well as we have went through some things, some really tough things, we have overcome some stuff that normal people would not
split.
Okay.
Shoot, went that way, went north, south,
You
east, west. Sure.
And not only did we go through things, but while we was going through it, we had people in our ear like, you need to do this, you need to do that. She ain't this and she ain't that and he ain't, and all of that stuff. But God was always that grounding voice in our ear saying, you know what you're supposed to do.
No,
you know what's right.
And see, that's the difference when you know. That's the biggest key thing when you know.
So for you, how do you handle yourself?
Well, I always have a way of when I feel myself getting angry, I always have a way of walking away.
You shut down.
I shut down.
Which I think that that's kind of the way of most men.
I get out, I be having an attitude, but when I feel myself about to get to that point to where I'm about to snap, I walk away, because to me that's the best way I can, get away from the situation. I know some people may not agree with it, like, no, you just can't walk away. But me personally, the type of person, in order for me to keep for saying something I ain't got no business saying, it's best for me to walk away, because I know myself. I know, I come from a family to where my family, they got anger problems. That's why half of them, but anyway, walk away, and pray, meditate, get somewhere privately, pray. And, because basically sometimes you need your own space in order for you to think. Because when you're in the heated situation, especially when you're around when it's a negativity atmosphere, it's hard. You can't think. You can't function. So you calling
me negative?
No, I'm not saying that. I'm just joking. No. But yeah,
I agree. Yeah. I agree. But a lot of people would say no, if you married, you got to stick it out. You got, not saying leave,
No.
but they'll say, no, if you married, ain't no walking away. But sometimes walking away is okay. Sometimes you have to walk away and recollect yourself and allow God to minister to you and to strengthen you and give you wisdom on what to say, because you can't keep, if you keep on beating a dead horse, or if you keep on beating a horse, eventually it's gonna die. So you can't keep beating a person with your opinion and thinking that they're going to agree with you. You got to give them some time to process what it is that you're saying. And that's one of the things that, that's one of the things that, I'm not going to lie, I have to work on still.
Me too.
Because
Me too.
I am the type of person that, one thing that I can say is, I'm a very wise person. And a lot of people come to me for advice.
Yes.
As a matter of fact, I'm in school for psychology.
Yeah.
So I'm in my 3rd year of psychology. But anyway, so I'm a very wise person. But the downside to that is, because I know that I'm a wise person, I always feel like that my viewpoint is right, but it's not. It's not always right. And it's okay to humble yourself and to say, you know what, I was wrong right there. Or maybe I do need to change my opinion or my viewpoint on that. Or maybe he is right. So that's one of the things that I need to work on.
And then too, another thing, that I think that's a big lack. People can't see when they're in the wrong. That's the problem now. And today, in the day and time we live in, it's like people cannot see that they're wrong.
They don't want to see it. They can see it, but they don't want to see it.
They don't want to see it. Exactly.
Okay, y'all, we're moving on down the list. Question number 9 is, who will handle the finance matters in the home?
Oh.
So, you want me to answer or you?
You go ahead with that one.
Okay, so for us, this is just the way that it works. And it's been working like this for 13 years.
Yes.
I'm more of the person that I'm able to sit down and say, okay, we got such and such amount of money. This needs to be paid. That needs to be paid. This needs to go here, and we need to save that. That's what I do. That's my gifting in the home. And so I feel like that assignment does not need to be designated to any specific person. It just needs to go to the person that has the most wisdom in doing that. And so if you know without a shadow of a doubt, you have no concept of managing money the right way, then you need to make sure that you humble yourself and delegate their responsibilities to the person that does know how to do it. And if don't neither one of y'all know how to do it, then you need to go seek some counseling for somebody to help you with budgeting and finance. So that's just my opinion. I feel like that same as, with things like, for instance, which may seem like such a small thing. My husband has always been, as long as we've been married, he's always been the person to clean the bathroom. Always. Those are the things, that's one of the main things that he does in the home. Now, from time to time, he washes the dishes and all that type of stuff. But he's always been the person to clean the bathroom. But that's because he do a good job at it. That's just what he do. So, and then for me, I've always been the person. Now, you got some men that'll get in the kitchen and cook, but I've always been the person that cooks because I like to cook. I look for recipes. I can cook. So, you just give that responsibility to the person that can handle that responsibility.
Yeah.
So, that's it. Question number 10, which is our final question.
That's our last question.
All right. What would you do if we fell out of love?
Ooh.
That's deep.
That's deep. Now
that's deep.
It's always the deep one. That's the very
exactly.
It's always the last one.
They gotta end with a cliffhanger.
Ooh, that's deep.
You want to go or a minute? I'm gonna let you go.
Oh man. If you fail out of love, ooh, that's a deep one. And it happens every day. To me, if that did happen, like, if there's no love there no more, you know it's not going to too much last longer. But I believe it's a way you can regain that love back. You know, I can't exactly tell you, you know, what it is or how you gain that love back for that person. But if the love ain't there no more, it's pretty much, to me, I don't know. To me, it's a done deal.
Well, for me, remember, and I want you guys to go find this movie and watch it. If you married, if you got a boyfriend or a girlfriend or a potential spouse, watch it.
Watch it.
It's a movie called Fireproof.
Yeah, Fireproof is really
and
good.
In the movie, I'm going to just kind of give y'all a little synopsis. But in the movie, and I'm sure y'all have seen it, some of y'all, because this is a very old movie. But in the movie, you had the husband who he was
a fireman.
He was a fireman,
mm-hmm.
and he was gone from home for like maybe 3-4 days, or maybe 2-3 days out the week, and then he would be home for a few days. And then there was the wife that was working at the hospital and stuff like that, and so she felt neglected because the husband was kind of like engulfed in watching porn on the internet and stuff like that. And then the wife at work, and it's a doctor there that's like, you know, talking to her like hey, how you doing? And all that, trying to get with her and stuff like that. And they both felt like that they were completely out of love with each other. They was ready to just part ways. All they did was argue. The husband, his father had given him a book called The Love Dare book, and I actually purchased that book. And that book told him every day that there was something that he would do for his wife.
Yep.
Until he got to 40 days.
40
and
days.
Then to see if their love was renewed. And what's amazing about it,
that was really good.
What is so amazing about it is the book didn't tell him for 40 days your wife got to do something for you to prove her love. It told him to do something for her. And so it just showed that love, man, that's powerful. Love is an action word.
It's an action
word. And it's
word.
about you giving. And so you can't expect to get something back if you're not willing to give something out. And so in my opinion, it's been plenty of times when I have felt like I can't do this no more. I'm going to have to walk away.
Walk away, yeah.
But the one thing that have always remained was love.
Love, that's it.
And so love is not... Love is God, and God is love. So love does not just disappear. Love don't just go away, because if that's the case, then that means God disappears and God goes away if God is love. So love does not just disappear, and it doesn't just go away. The thing about it is we allow so many other things to come and rest upon our heart that we forget about love and that person that's supposed to be sitting on our heart. And so that's the thing. I feel like if you feel like you falling out of love with that person, then that means that you got too much clutter going on within inside of you, and you need to put some things in perspective. You need to prioritize some things. It's some stuff that got to sit on the back burner so that you can work on your relationship.
Yeah.
So that's how I feel.
Yeah, that's powerful.
So, guys, we are not going to hold you guys any longer. We have reached question number 10. We hope that you guys really gained something from this that we talked about. We hope that you guys got some insight, some help on some situations that you may have been going through or anything. And also, as we always say, make sure that you like, make sure that you subscribe, make sure that you share this video, and not just so we can get a whole bunch of views, but share this video so that somebody that may be going through something can find some type of resolution to the situations that they may be going through. Because y'all, it's just crazy how you just see this epidemic of people just getting divorced after 15 years,
20 years.
You know,
it's crazy.
Nobody just wakes up and decide that they not in love with that, or they don't love that person anymore. It's something going on.
It's something.
And so the route to finding out what's going on is to not find out what's wrong with that person, but to find out what's going on inside of you, to find out where you got off track at some time. And I feel like a lot of times we look to find a way to cure the other person, to fix the relationship, but in reality, we have to learn how. If I can't work on myself, if I can't love me and if I can't work on me, then how do I ever expect to love him the way that God created me to love him? So yeah, so make sure you share this video, give us some thumbs up. And we love you guys so much. Thank you so much for rocking with the incredible Scott.